So I'm going to do a little video now on how to extract machine control models from IFC files. So it goes without saying that if we're talking machine control, we'll be looking for these footings here. So I'm just going to click on one of those and I'm going to click on Find Similar. Having done that, n4ce finds all the similar objects to those pads. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say if I don't want those, I'm going to invert my selection and I'm going to turn those off. I don't want these large pads here though, so I'm going to click on those and you can see that they're on this section here under IFC slab, so I'm going to just turn those off as well. So that gives me all of those objects there. Okay, so I'm just going to select them again just by going to Find Similar. And all I need to do really is now just say commit triangles. So it says what's the name of your model that you want to put them in. So I'm going to create one called footings. That's now been created. So if I now go and look in the project, I'll see a new model in there called footings. And if I double click on that, there are the triangles. And if I go into 3D, okay, there are those triangles. Now the problem we've got obviously is that we also have a top to these footings, whereas we would actually really need them without that, so that we can essentially model the trench. So to do that, I need to find a way of deleting the tops of these triangles to obviously leave us with the trench. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this view into an elevation. So maximize that, go to points, elevation create, and I'm just going to pick any 2 points on the same face. That now lets me look at the triangles from the side. I can now go DTM and I can choose delete by rectangle and just delete these top triangles. So delete those ones, these ones, and these ones. So if I now go to points, reverse, that puts it back into looking at it in plan view, and I can now go and look at it in 3D. Okay, and there we go. If I now shade by gradient, you can see everything red is essentially the base of the footing, everything blue is from the side. Now I could just export this now to machine control. All I've got to do is go to AutoCAD option here and just choose Leica MC1, which is going to create a DXF with just the faces in, so we can handle vertical edges, and that will obviously go onto a Trimble or a TopCon or whatever other machine control system you want. I can't go via LandXML because LandXML doesn't like vertical edges because you can't have duplicate heights on the same node, so DXF is your best option. However, obviously machine control would obviously usually prefer strings as well. So how do we get the strings out of this? So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our model and go to graphics on that and reload in the IFC. So I'm going to move that view out of the way for the time being. So I'm going to use a new function which allows me now to slice the IFC data. So I'm going to go to sections and I'm going to click on Z, and that's going to give me a section essentially snapped to the extent of the data. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. So let's say 100 by say 65. Very, very thin. So a millimeter thin. And I'm going to click this button here, which is snap to point, and click that there. Okay. So hopefully now that is clipped to that data set there, or clipped to that there. I'm just going to do it again because I don't think it has. Go to there, and back on the IFC Explorer, I'm going to hit lines from section, and there you go. There is the line work for that slice. So what I'm going to do is in here, I'm going to go code, just say TB for top of batter, and click live so it recalculates when I move it in a second, and hit digitize. And those points have now all been put into the model. Having done that, I'm going to move now and change my datum. So again, I move that out of the way, and I'm going to click on snap, and let's say these here, and you can see those points in there. That'll do me fine because it's at the right height. So give those points a different code so I can tell them apart in a minute, and hit digitize lines. Okay, so if I shut that down and hit refresh, or rather redraw extents, turn off the heights, there's our data. Okay, and obviously they're on top of each other, so I'm going to make life easy for myself and separate them out. So to do that, I'm going to go back to the project manager, Okay, and I'll rename this model here. I'll call that one, say, level 1, and I'm going to just copy level 1, call it level 2, and then in level 1 I'm going to select all my TBs, delete them out, and then in level 2 I'm going to select all the BBs, hit delete, and they'll go. I'm also going to select the column here, and I'm going to go string numbers reset, so I get proper numbers on the strings, because if we're going to set these out, sometimes that helps to be able to click a string based on its number, rather than just hoping we get the right one when we click on it on screen. String numbers reset. So if I now go back and to look at level 1, you'll see that we've lost the TBs, but if I do Alt B for backcloth, move level 2 over, there they are there. And if I do Alt B again, move the footings over, they're in there as well. And if I go to the whole thing in 3D, okay, I'll just remove, or rather, I'll just remove the IFC, remove the section. Okay, so there you go. So we've got the footings. So if I just put those in wireframe for the moment, there you go. In fact, if I just turn them off completely, there you go. So we've got the top strings there, the lower strings there, and if I put them back on, there's those strings as well. Okay, so obviously those can all be sent out to machine control for any system that takes a DXF. Obviously we can send the strings out as XML. So you can see after just 5 minutes I was able to drill down to just what I needed from the IFC, pull out the triangles, delete the triangles I didn't need, and then cut the IFC in a couple of places to extract the strings, and then obviously we can export straight from there.